Hi and welcome back. My name is Emelie Hessler. Today we're gonna create 2 cards using the Layered Park Tree stencil from Trinity Stamps. This is one of the newer stencils and that was a part of the April release. And I absolutely fell in love with the design of this one. I think you will too when you see it in action. I love layering stencils and stamp sets and everything because I think it gives such a realistic result. And when I saw this one, I immediately knew that I wanted to create a feel of a... I don't know how to explain it, but in Sweden we have this garden called the Royal Garden, and it's famous for their cherry blossoms. And in this time of the year, it's really magical to be in that park because there are all of these cherry blossom trees and they are all in pink and it's absolutely gorgeous. So that was what I had in mind when I saw this stencil the first time on a picture. So I wanted to replicate the feeling that I got from this with cherry blossom. So you can see I just lined up every one of these layers and I inked them up, and they are really easy to figure out how to layer because they have the etching. And also this stencil is really forgiving because these leaf type of images you can also it doesn't matter if they aren't perfectly lined up. I think it would look good either way. So this is a really easy one if you want to start out easy with a layering stencil. This is a good choice. It also is nice because it comes with all of these inlay parts, so you can easily mask off the crown of the tree or the trunk of the tree. So really easy to do. The trunk also comes with 2 layers. You can see them in action here in a second. I used Lawn Fawn inks. That is just because I have a variety of those inks, but you could use whatever inks you have in your stash. And I really like the Trinity brushes when I'm doing this because I think it's so easy to control where the ink goes. So you can see I placed both of the layers here so I can ink up my background without getting the blue ink on top of my tree here. I'm using a shade from Altenew. It's a teal one, and I think that contrasts well with the pink that we put on the crown of this tree. So you can see how it turned out, and I absolutely love the result. So I decided to create a second one using more fictive colors of a tree. I just love rainbows and I'm obsessed with them at the moment. So every card I make nearly has to have a rainbow on it. So I decided to create my own species of trees here. So I went with some pink, some teal and minty green color combination, and I placed my crowns all over the background just to create my own background pattern here. And then I'm going in with the second layer, and I'm doing this in steps, and that I think is the easiest way to create with stencils like this. Even though you have to clean them up between each layer, I think that is easier because you know exactly how to line it up. You don't have to think too much, and you can just go to the next layer and then to the next and so on until you have covered the entire panel. You can see I will speed it up a little bit so you don't have to see me color everything. And another tip is that I'm cleaning off my stencil when I have it on the paper, and sorry my head is in the way here. That is so the ink that is left onto the stencil goes into my paper, and it doesn't smear my work surface as much when I'm doing it like that. So now we are building up our trees here, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I'm going with the next darker layer every time here. If you use distress oxides, I think it would be really fun to go from dark to lighter colors. I think that would create an awesome dimension as well, and maybe a little bit more of a realistic look, but that was not the case here. I wasn't going for a realistic look. I was going for this fictive color combination and everything, so for me that is not a problem. but I think it would be fun to see it the other way. I know some of the design team members actually did that, and it was super amazing to see. So I can see if I find that video and I can link it to you, because it was amazing. And here you can see I am using the same colors here, masking off the crown of the tree that is beneath it, if that makes sense. I'm not too careful with the placement of the tree trunk here. I'm just making sure that it's not overlapping too much. And you can see how beautiful this scene is and how amazingly it comes together. I absolutely love how it turned out, and I will use this stencil for fall colors and maybe for some more spring cards. Maybe even you can use the trunk for a wintry scene, so it's perfect for every season. Here I'm using my tea ruler just to make this die fit perfectly across my panel, and to make sure that it's straight, because I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine. I also run it through a couple of times with just some plain white cardstock, and we will create some dimension and an upraised surface. We will do the exact same thing on our other panel in a second here. I just wanted to talk about this die set. I know that it's out of stock at the moment, but it still will be back in stock, I can promise you that. And this font is actually the same font as we have on our Marshmallow Alphabet, so if you're interested in that one, I can link it down below as well. So now comes what I think is the best part of creating a card. Is when you see everything come together. You had an idea and now you can see if it works. So I'm gluing this down with my favorite adhesive from, it's called a Nouveau Deluxe, and it's amazing. And then I'm putting some adhesive to the empty spots, and we can inlay our greeting. And I hope you can read it, because I can, even though it's a small screen. So I think this technique is perfect if you don't want to interfere too much with your background, since you put quite a lot of time creating this. It's the perfect way to just have a greeting but not make it take over your card. And on top of that, I took some black pieces of cardstock, cut out the sanding, and I did that actually with some stickered adhesive on the backside, just to make that into a sticker at once, so we don't have to fibbling around with some adhesive to the backside. So I think that is the easiest when you have quite a flimsy die cut piece like this. And I never find my small pieces, I think it's called a tittle. I heard somebody say it, but I don't know if it's correct. But anyway, you will see I will take a Sharpie and just color in the dot over the letters, so you don't have to find those small dots on your work surface. I actually found one later on and glued it to one of the cards, but the other one was mysteriously gone. So that always happens to me. I don't know if it's the same with you, but this is my hack to not lose my mind over finding those small dots that you have to make sure that your product is having all the nice touches in the end. Here it is. I'm going in with a Sharpie, just making that small little dot. And yeah, this was pretty much the finished card. I will go in with some embellishments to both our cards, and you will see them on screen here. But it was really easy and fun to create these cards. If you're interested in the products that I use for this video, I will link them down below. And if you have any questions, just pop them down below and I will answer them as fast as I can. And I hope that you all are well and healthy and taking care of yourself. And I will be back soon. Bye!